Any old comfortable seat will do. You could be sitting on a couch, a chair, the floor, really anything goes. Just want to find some position where your hip flexors can relax and when your torso can be upright. And I'm joined by my little buddy Lenny, who's the archetype of shallow breathing. Probably not the best model for pranayama, but he'll have to do for today. So this is the third pranayama class, breathe piece, that we've done so far. And the others, we've touched on a few different breathing techniques. Last week we looked at kapalabhati breathing, which is this controlled hyperventilation exercise. And that really sets us up to do the opposite thing, which is called hypoventilation, or taking fewer breaths per minute than we usually would. All pranayama techniques have that ultimate goal of creating this condition inside of the nervous system where you don't need to breathe as much as you might otherwise. We'll do a range of different techniques today. We'll revisit both those techniques, but the first one is the most accessible and probably the easiest one to tap into and the most valuable one to use in everyday life, and this is relaxed diaphragmatic breathing. So sit up nice and tall. You can place your hands over your abdomen, touching the tips of the fingers together. And then just notice any movement of the abdomen as you breathe. The diaphragm is kind of like a jellyfish, and so as we inhale, it pushes down like that. And this can cause a shape change in the belly, so it expands out. But if the abdominals are contracted, and the abdominals are at the front obviously, so it can't expand out as much, so it starts to expand laterally out to the sides. So bring your hands apart to touch the sides of the belly. You can also touch the lowest ribs. And then do a little cough. Maintain a little bit of engagement of that cough. Not quite full power, but a little bit of engagement with the heart lifted. And then see if you can feel the diaphragm creating movement laterally out to the sides. And as you exhale, notice the ribs naturally moving in towards the core of the body. That's what helps us push the air out. So we take a breath in with gentle abdominal tension. Notice what there is to notice. And on the exhale, we can use more abdominal contraction to help force the air out. Again, slow inhale. And slow exhale. And then try it with a softer abdomen, which is also a really great technique. So you may feel more movement in the belly with that, which tends to have a really calming effect. So in pranayama, one of the challenges is to take the downward flowing energy of the exhale, which is said to contract and create a tone in the pelvic floor, and blend it with the upward lift expansive pattern of the inhale, which really opens the front body and radiates out from the heart. When we bring these two patterns together, we get a little bit of lateral movement and a little bit of expansion in the lower back, around the back of the diaphragm where the kidneys are. So try to tap into a feeling for that as you're doing this next exercise. We'll take the right hand up and tuck the index finger and middle finger into the palm. Just doing a few sets of nadi shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. Start by placing the thumb over the right nostril, pulling the skin down gently. The two fingers will go over the left nostril, gently pulling the skin down. And then take an inhale through the left side to the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold the breath, switching sides. Barely open the right nostril, exhaling through the right side. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Extra puff. That creates that tone in the pelvic floor. Right side inhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, And 1. Holding the breath as you fill up to the heart. Switching sides for the exhales, nice and slow. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slow the inhale through the left by just barely keeping the nostril open. Counting at your own pace. Try to keep your throat relaxed during this technique. So instead, the nostril is just barely open to slow the breath. Top of the inhale, hold your breath. If you went longer than 5 seconds, that's fine. Keep it just as long as you exhale through the right side. Extra puff at the end. Toning pelvic floor, upward squeeze. Inhale through the right side. Right up to your collarbones at the top of the inhale. Switch sides for the exhale. This will be our last one of this sequence. And then both nostrils barely open. Inhale through both as slowly as you can. And then big sigh of relief. Super cheesy, right? I always avoided doing that big sigh at the end of any yoga class. And then I studied with Richard Freeman, and he had us do this like all the time. You take a breath in, and then So what we're doing is training the roof of the palate to let go. A lot of the times, if we're holding on or gripping too much, there's a tightness that happens, whether it's coming from the jaw or the tongue. We try to release that, just like when you're really bored or when the mind is stunned with awe. And this can have this physiological reflex of creating a calmness through the whole body. And you can use this in meditation as well. In traditional yoga, it's called the no mind gesture. It has a Sanskrit name, which I can't remember. Something mudra. But it's a very effective technique. And I try to come back to this like throughout the day. So let's settle into it together. Eyes barely open. Half-baked eyes. Half-open eyes. Are you here, Mom? No? Okay, good. Tongue behind top teeth. Roof of the mouth soft. Relax the face as much as you can. Relax the abdomen as much as you can. And allow the breath to take care of itself. Another minute or so. Try letting your mouth fall open. Allow the chin to lower down slightly and gaze up between the eyebrows as the chin drops. Eyes are barely open. And then staying with that, close the mouth. Place the tongue gently behind the top teeth to avoid drooling. It can happen sometimes. Great. So from this place of relaxation, we'll explore My personal favorite of the pranayams, also known as a kriya, it could be used either way. Kriya is a purification technique, that's the translation from Sanskrit, or an action to purify, whereas pranayama is a deliberate breathing technique with an intention towards meditation. So this next one starts with rounding the back and spinal flexion, looking at your navel. Then you use your hands on your lap as you inhale, slowly rolling up through the vertebra. Allow the rib cage to lift, let the chin lift. And then as you exhale, round forward again, dropping the chin slowly. Tailbone heavy. Inhale, use the assistance of the hands to rise up, lifting the ribs away from the pelvis, and then lift the chin. And then exhale, soften the effort, letting the shoulders drop down, let the chin drop down. As we start from spinal flexion, maybe you can feel the inhale flowing through your lower back, and then gradually rising up the spine through the ribs and the heart. And then exhale forward. So I call this the wavy spinal movement, and I encourage you to stick with this if this is new to you. The next one is a more intermediate progression of that technique called Bhastrika breathing. Take a look at me doing it a few times first. So this is more of a hyperventilation technique, but it's controlled. I'm going to inhale to create that same shape. On the exhale, I'm letting go. So I kind of jiggled a little bit because I'm super relaxed as I let go. Allowing about 2 seconds for the inhale, 2 for the exhale. And the exhale is being forced out. It's also called Bellow's breath because the shape change is pushing the air out. So if that seems too freaky or uncomfortable, skip it and stick with the wavy spinal movement for a little longer. Otherwise, we'll do Bhastrika for a full minute. And then once we stop, we'll hold the breath for as long as we can comfortably. And I'll talk you through that process. So let's take a normal breath in before we start. And normal exhale. Allowing the tail to drop, shoulders forward. And then inhale, use your hands lifting the ribs. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And continue. About halfway there. Ten more seconds. Three more to go. 2 more. And after this last one, exhale, empty, hold the breath, extra puff, swallow the saliva, tongue behind top teeth, and lower the chin. Empty of air, hold the breath as long as you're comfortable. Let the posture be relaxed, rounded. You might make a very modest effort to sit up a little bit. As long as you feel relaxed, continue holding the breath. If at any point you feel the need to breathe, very gentle tension in the core, just like the puffing sound, and then breathe very slowly into that gently tensed core. And after you've let in a little bit of air, try holding the breath in. And then when you feel called to exhale, slowly exhale. Let the air out as slowly as possible. And then hold your breath, empty of air, maybe 10 seconds, a little longer if it feels comfortable. Completely relax the face. Relax the roof of the palate. Barely open the eyes. And you continue to watch the breath. And we'll spend another minute simply watching the breath. You're welcome to keep the eyes closed to help focus inwards, or to lower the chin and just barely keep the eyes open. And so if that worked, you'll probably find the breath is naturally really, really slow and calm. In the Hatha Yoga text, the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, this is described as the better pranayama, or the best of the pranayams, the one where the breath is automatically held without you really having to try and do anything. You've created these conditions in the nervous system for the heart rate to slow down and the breath to naturally slow down on its own. So you don't really have to think about whether you're inhaling or exhaling. You can just be there in the moment, really, really calm and really peaceful. And this is a great way to set yourself up for meditation. So if you do have some more time, I encourage you to sit and meditate for a little while. We'll officially end this class with what's called the honeybee breath. This one's really sweet. So you can place your hands over your heart. Close the eyes. And we'll do this a few times. So you take a breath in through your nose, and then make a honeybee sound with the mouth closed. Follow it all the way to empty, and then repeat a few more times. And just notice the internal feeling from these techniques. It's said that when a yoga practitioner is practicing nonviolence really well, animals forget their hostility. So I think it worked. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. I hope this served you well. And feel free to check my website to do this practice as often as you can. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below the video, or even within the chat if you're doing the live video. Thank you. Say hi, Lenny. High five, buddy. High five.